We're far beyond politics, ethnicity, and religious affiliations. It is now a question of humanity. With 3 failed UN Security Council resolutions to halt the Israeli-Gaza war, in addition to Israel's refusal of the UN's General Assembly non-binding resolution calling for a humanitarian truce, the Israeli ongoing bombardment of Gaza as of November 1st has resulted in over 9,000 deaths of Palestinian civilians, most of which are women and children, in addition to the permanent displacement of over 1.5 million Palestinians. A humanitarian crisis unfolded, and the international community has failed to respond adequately, leading to a worldwide humanitarian awakening that insists on being heard. Israel's persistent use of the self-defense argument has sparked a controversy all over the world, a controversy that could be seen and followed online away from the official international community's reactions. Given their shared political and geopolitical interests with Israel, Western states confine themselves to announcing that civilians should be protected and given aid, while simultaneously supporting Israel's right to defend itself, without mentioning where should we draw the line, especially with Israel's constant violation of international law. Things are getting from bad to worse, as evidenced by the latest catastrophic bombing on the 31st of October and 1st of November of Jabalia refugee camp, killing over 500 Palestinian civilians on spot and still counting. This heartbreaking tragedy has reached millions all over the world with the help of informative posts, stories providing real-time updates on what's happening in Gaza. The reality of the Israeli atrocities is getting exposed through the lens of Palestinian, Middle Eastern, European, and American citizens and activists via a variety of tools, making an unprecedented impression where a cause that was previously thought to only have support in the Middle East is now receiving international attention. And we're here to clarify just how. With the ever-growing current globalization, social media platforms are playing a crucial role in the midst of the Israeli-Gaza war, engaging a variety of actors, from simple citizens to influencers and celebrities all over the world running a war on their own. With the main demand of an immediate ceasefire and the delivery of humanitarian aid, their unequivocal online effort is focusing on posting and offering coverage on a 24-hour basis and engaging in peaceful activism to promote the Palestinian cause, all whilst fighting Meta's shadow banning of pro-Palestinian content and the Western media's bias towards Israel. Their efforts are also aimed at a punitive dimension, particularly in the Middle East, by boycotting Israeli-related businesses like Starbucks and McDonald's. But is this online activism really working? The online pressure and intense activism have resulted in hundreds of thousands taking to the streets over the last 2 weeks to call for a ceasefire. Tens of rallies and sit-ins all over the world, with thousands of protesters, are now chanting, "Free Palestine, end the genocide, and let Gaza live." Whether it's in the streets of central London or the Jews sit-in in New York City's Grand Central Station, alongside protests in Italy, Ireland, Germany, France, Toronto, and more. Further, the call for and execution of the boycott led to the plummeting of stocks of the aforementioned industries, among others. This fervent reaction that we've seen over the past few weeks demonstrates that people realize that this is beyond an Israeli retaliation for what happened on October the 7th. They've witnessed a much more complicated and violent response that has caused suffering and death to innocent Palestinian civilians. We're far beyond politics, ethnicity, and religious affiliations. It is now a question of humanity, of empathy, a sentiment that has awakened millions of people around the world in the hopes that the voice of humanity will ultimately prevail.